We're going to continue. Again, one of the things we were trying to go over with the group is how to use Hebrew grammar a little more effectively, so that we could understand some of the words that we were reading, and try to see why some of the interpretations that we see don't quite match what we think of that word meaning, or what the Common English commentaries had given to those words. So the Hebrew words are normally, especially verbs. We'll start with verbs and we'll go to nouns and so on after. But Hebrew words are normally broken down into the idea of to make or to do an action, pa'al. And if we define pretty well all Hebrew words can be broken down into a three-letter root. There is some debate amongst grammarians. They do say that there are some words that might have two-letter roots and some that might have four-letter roots, but most of the Rishonim, most of the earlier commentators do try to divide it up into three-letter roots, and in fact give rules on how we can divide it into these three-letter roots.
All words,
so
or we're talking just the verbs?
All verbs.
Okay.
Nouns are constructs that are made out of verbs. So nouns are something that you've done with that action, something that involves that action. So if we start with verbs, we'll get to nouns later. So we're going to treat each of these letters as a position in your root. So the first letter will be identified as the pei, the second letter will be identified as the ayin, the third is the lamed, and when we find another word, so hey, lamed, ha, halach, the hey is in the pei position, the lamed is in the ayin position, and the kaf is in the lamed position. So whatever word we have, we're going to define it by those three positions. Hebrew has letters that sometimes do not properly take vowel sounds. So we have letters that are very guttural. We have ayin and chet that come very low. And to put a shva, to put a non-pronounceable or non-pronounced vowel underneath that letter sometimes does not make the word flow or sound properly or even be able to be pronounced properly. So some of these letters, aleph, ayin, yud, hey, and sometimes resh, will have different rules for when they are in different positions of the word, because sometimes the word will be unpronounceable because of the position of that letter that doesn't have good pronunciation to it with vowel sounds. So we're going to notice on the sheet that I've handed out to you that, and maybe we'll somehow attach that to the file so that people can see. We're going to zoom in.
We'll attach that.
And we'll figure it out, and they'll be able to get a copy of this sheet. So we notice about a third of the way down the page, grammarians use the following designations: pei, nun. So in the first position of the word, if the letter is a nun, then sometimes that letter is going to fall away or be replaced by another letter. Similarly, we've got pei yud, pei vav, pei aleph. So if any of those are in the first position, there are different rules for that verb. And similarly, we're going to, for some reason, he did this sideways. So we're going to have ayin yud, ayin vav, ayin in the middle position with a yud, a vav, or an ayin. Again, the word is something is going to happen to it. And lamed hey, lamed aleph, if you've got a hey or an aleph at the end of the shorish, at the end of the three-letter root, then again you've got different rules for that. We're going to look at rule number 1. Remove all prefixes and suffixes. So Hebrew verbs are built such that the actor, the person who is doing it, and the time sequence of the verb are going to be identified by either adding something at the beginning of the word or adding something at the end of the word. So, for instance, I gave, past tense, natati. So we're going to notice that we put a nun at the beginning and the phrase ti at the end, and the T is going to fall away when we're trying to look for the shorish. That last Tav Yud is going to fall away, and we're going to be left with the root Nun, Tat, and then we're going to decide what we're going to do with that later. Similarly, I'm going to give in the future Etain. Aleph, Tav, Nun. The Aleph is me in the future, so Aleph is for me, Aleph is I. So we're going to take that away, and similarly, we've got the Taf Nun as the root that we're going to have to deal with. I think we're going to try and save. We're going to do one or two more rules just so that we get sort of a sense of this, and we're going to save this page and go over it the next lesson because it's going to take too long. But these are basic concepts, and we're going to try and build on this so that we get facility with this, and as we see words, we can see the shore, see the root that they're coming from, so that we can learn them better. There are special rules for Lamed Chaf and Kaf Chat, that Lamed Chaf gets a hey in front of it, and Kaf Chat gets a Lamed in front of it. Rule number 3: if one radical remains with a prefix of Nun or Yud, so if you've only got one remaining letter, then what do you do with it? You put a hey or a nun at the end, and then you have to put it back into the rules and see what you do with the rest of it.
Do you have an example of that?
I'll bring examples for next week because I just wanted everybody to sort of look through the rules first and get the concepts here. So if the next thing we're going to deal with is letters that have a dagesh, letters that have a dot in them. So letters that have a dot in them have a different grammatical significance. There are actually two types of dots: a soft dot and a hard dot. And we will again get back to the significance of the rules for those later. Needless to say, that dots in the Beged Kefet letters and dots in other letters, so dots in the letters Beit, Gimel, Daled, Kaf, Pei, Tav, have a different set of rules for them than a dot in any other letter. So just as we're reading through the rules of what to do with something that's got a dagesh in it, we have to realize that. And I think I'm going to leave this because this page is a little overwhelming, but I'm sort of giving everybody the introduction into how we're going to be able to find a shorish later on. And we're going to pause the tape now, and we'll go into the sefer.